Hey, how you doing? I trust you're having a fantastic afternoon. I am, right? I'm coming in on this new week, right? With a nice little workout this morning. We've got some more to do this afternoon. I'm not sitting between weights very often anymore, right? But we're still gonna call this guy Between the Weights, and I guess we're gonna, I don't know if this one's live. I got a message from someone that would claim to care about me a little bit, right? And I imagine that they do. Like, I don't believe that they're being facetious. I don't think they're lying about that they care, right? But they sent me this thing. It was an anecdotal story. You kind of heard it all. Like, you may have heard this kind of thing before. If I have in all the like business things or whatever that I read or podcasts that I listen to and stuff, where the young upstart young guy goes to the older dude and asks him how he can be successful like him, right? Like, what does he need to do in order to be successful like the older guy? And in this story, the older fellow looks at the younger guy and sort of regrets the choices that he made to be successful, right? And whatever those happen to be, right? And the point of the story is to live without regrets or whatever. And there's this spin on the story in particular is to not try so hard to be successful at business or something at the expense of other things that when life is at its end may end up being what's more important, right? And I have yet to talk to this person about why they sent it to me, but I have some history with them, and I think what they're trying to say is that I'm working too much, that I'm working too much, and I'm going to regret that I work too much, that I regret that I tried to do this gym thing, and that I would have preferred to have some sort of easy job so that I could then spend more time sitting at home watching TV or something, right? And so if we're titling this guy "Own Your Strikes," right? So if at the end of your life, right, the object is to not have any regrets, then at every single opportunity, you need to take the chance, right? You need to swing the bat, right? To use a really old, kind of worn out analogy is Babe Ruth, right? You probably know that Babe Ruth held the record for home runs in baseball for a really, really long time, right? And because it's such a cliche example, you probably also know that Babe Ruth also had one of the higher strikeout rates also, right? Because he just swung at everything, and he swung at everything as hard as he possibly could. And sometimes he hit the ball, right? Sometimes he hit the ball. And when he did, because he was swinging so hard, it would be a home run, right? However, I mean, forgive me if my facts are wrong, but I'm pretty sure most of the times at bat, Babe Ruth struck out because he swung as hard as he could at whatever was there, right? I would contend that he played baseball without any regrets, right? That's the way he knew how to play baseball. Swing as hard as you can at every single ball, and sometimes you're going to get a home run. And it just so happened that he got more home runs than anyone else did for a long time, right? So I hear this story, and the story that was sent to me, and from what I get is, you should not just bury your head in the sand and put off being happy, right? You shouldn't do something that you hate for 60 years and then, or 40 or whatever, right? And at the age of 65, okay, now I can retire and live my life. Right now, I can be happy, right? Because all of that time that you put your head down and just like did what you were supposed to do, now you've got all these regrets, right? You missed all the things, okay? So something, I don't talk a whole lot about is I've had a gym before, right? And it failed, right? It failed. I took a swing. There were lots of bad choices that were made. But ultimately it was all my fault, and it didn't work out, right? And it didn't, whatever, it sucks, right? I tried it and it didn't work. And I know this person is scared for me that it's going to happen again, right? So they're trying to knock some sense into me, right? Just give up. But it's funny. They just don't understand me, I guess, right? Because I am living my life right now in a way that I'm not going to have any regrets, okay? Akin to that, right next to that, is, part of owning our strikes, right? Yeah, it sucks. That happened, right? That totally happened. And here I am doing it again, and we're doing it better. And I had some personal journey that had to go through, right? And that happened. That is still happening, right? I'm still on my own journeys, as we all are, right? And but it's happening again, and it's better this time. And it took the strikes for me to learn what I needed to do so that I could hit home runs, so that I would not have any regrets, right? So that I can be happy. And lots of time, particularly now with Facebook and Instagram, right? There are lots of people that are scared to strike because of what other people are going to think about them, because of what other people are going to say, right? Because their sister or their mom or their best friend is going to not like their post on Instagram, are going to give them a bad comment on the picture or whatever it is, right? Or say, oh, I told you so, or whatever negative feedback you're going to get from people. You're scared of it, right? So you don't take the swing because you're scared of getting a strike. And so because you're so scared of getting a strike, you don't take the swing, which then prevents you from getting a hit in the first place, right? And it's so prevalent, especially with, social media hasn't changed any of the things that we act, right? We've always been afraid to let our mom down. Most people, right, have always been afraid to let their mom down. So they didn't become artists like they really wanted to, right? They became doctors and lawyers and are miserable, or they are CPAs or whatever, dentists, whatever profession your mom thinks you should do, you did, and you're miserable, and you resent her, right? Every time you go to work, you're like, dang it, I hate this job, right? Or maybe it's your husband or wife that, whatever it is, right? Whoever it is that is their opinion that that you value so much that prevents you from taking the swing, and possibly getting a strike, is holding you back. And I think the best thing that I know I can do for my kids is to make sure that they are never afraid to swing the bat. Never afraid to swing the bat. And at the exact same time, realize that they are not worthless if they get a strike. Realize that they are still loved, that they're still of value if they get a strike. If they strike out every single time they swing the bat. They can never be afraid to take a swing, right? Because taking a swing is the only way you're ever going to get a hit. And so we need to, I don't know how I tidy this all up, right? Not be afraid to get strikes, right? Not let other people's values dictate mine. They may think a strike is really bad, right? And so they are never going to swing the bat. And they are going to end up at the end of their life with regrets that they didn't swing the bat. There was a girl in high school in one of my classes. Her name is Brittany. And her and her friend sent me like secret admirer things for Valentine's, right? I gave it to the teacher, and the teacher passed it out, and awesome, right? And it was kind of obvious who it was, right? It wasn't a giant secret. While no one came out and told me, hey, this is who it was, there were enough hints of who it was, right? And so I, being a reasonably intelligent young man, returned the favor, right? I got them two cute little, I can't even remember what it was, stuffed bears or something, and gave it to the teacher to give to them anonymously. And they, of course, knew. They knew. Of course they did, right? And I don't know that the teacher came out and told them, but they knew because they gave it to me, and I gave it back, right? They knew. And in class, they were making comments about, oh, I wonder who it was, like, and they were like pretending to guess, right? And I hope this guy like asks us out or whatever, right? To this day, I regret not asking those girls out, right? I didn't take the swing because I was afraid of the strike. I was afraid of them saying no. Maybe I was afraid of them saying yes and then not knowing what to do afterwards. But I was afraid to take the swing. And this was T-ball, right? This was, the ball is being held right in front of me, and all I have to do is swing, and I'm guaranteed to get a hit. And I still wouldn't take the swing. And I regret that, right? That's what I regret. And I'm not going to regret that ever again. I'm not going to have regrets ever again, right? And I think that's an incredibly valuable lesson that we all need to take into heart and pass on to kids, to grandkids, whoever it is, right? Because it's valuable and it'll change people's lives. It'll make them happy, right? Secondarily to owning the strikes, not worrying about what other people think is, again, I think it just comes down to that, right? The person that sent me the thing just values different things than me. And thinks that working 8 hours a day and coming home and spending hours every night in front of a TV is more valuable to the kids. It looks like you're spending lots of time with your kids. It looks like you have a good work-life balance, right? That's just another one of those things that people judge us on, and you just, let them do them, and you worry about yourself, right? And make yourself happy, and take care of the people that you love, right? And I think that's good for today. Own your strikes. Realize that a strike doesn't mean you're a failure, doesn't mean you're worthless, right? Doesn't mean you're of no value. See you next time.